Hey everyone, Coach Simon here with Top Tennis Training, and in this lesson I'm going to show you how to hit the perfect one-handed backhand in 3 simple steps. The one-handed backhand in tennis is arguably the most beautiful shot. Look at Roger Federer, look at Wawrinka, it's a real work of art. But it's dying out. More and more players are now using the two-handed backhand, and this is simply because you have a little bit more stability with that top hand. However, with a one-handed backhand, you have more freedom. Now, before we get into step 1, it's all about the grip. Now, the ideal grip, the grip that I've taught many of my students and the grip that most ATP pros will use on that shot is the Eastern backhand grip. This is where the knuckles, the index knuckle is basically on that top bevel. So if I put my hand like this on the frame, my knuckles are now on top of that frame, and I slide the hand down, that's my Eastern backhand grip. And the reason this grip is so great for that one-hander is because it allows your wrist to be neutral at the point of contact. So as you can see, my wrist is neutral, it's not flexed in either direction, and this allows me to have great stability at the point of contact, even against fast balls. If I'm using a continental grip and I want my strings to be facing forwards, as you can see here, I now have to bend my wrist, and this puts a lot of stress on the wrist. So with a continental grip, I can handle low balls, but higher balls become a real nightmare. And then if I have an extreme backhand grip, it's great for dealing with high balls, but low balls become tough. But with the Eastern backhand grip, I can handle mid-height, high, or low equally as well. So now that we have the grip, it's all about that unit turn and early preparation. Most likely in that ready position, you're holding the racket with your forehand grip, like so. And as early as you recognize the ball's coming to that backhand side, the first step is to have that grip change from the forehand grip into the backhand grip. And also that coil with the upper body. I want my right shoulder coiling as quickly as I can. So it's ready position, split step, I see the ball's coming to the backhand, the grip change happens, and at the same time, I'm now coiling that upper body. Whilst this is happening, I can also have my left foot pivot under my body, which allows me to then move to the ball in this normal running fashion. Instead of having to move to the ball like a crab using side steps, I can use that pivot and move to the ball with normal running steps. So it's all happening at the same time. It's that grip change, that upper body coil, and the pivot step under the body with my left foot. So it's split and change. Split and change. And the quicker we can do this, the more time we'll have to actually have a full swing, and the more time we'll have on that shot, the more options we'll have on the ball. Now, as you can see, I'm also holding the racket head higher than the grip level when I'm preparing, when I'm changing grips. This is very important, this is vital in producing a powerful, aggressive one-handed backhand. Players like Wawrinka, we see that he keeps his racket head above the grip all the way through the preparation phase, is basically giving him leverage over that oncoming ball or force over that oncoming ball. And it also gives you the space that you need to build up that racket head speed and build up that momentum. If my racket is level with the grip and I take the racket back, the space from here to the point of contact is extremely limited. I have maybe 4 or 5 feet to build racket head speed, and it becomes more of a push. Whereas if I have my racket head up, I now have so much space to actually build that racket head speed, and it becomes easy on my body. Step 2 is now reaching a perfect power position. This means the furthest point back in that back swing. So we have the back swing, we reach the back point, and we have the forward swing. And that power position is the furthest point back before you start going forward. Now what we want to look to do in this power position on that one-hander is have the racket head above the grip level, as we can see here, have the non-hitting hand holding the throat of the racket like this, which actually takes the weight of the racket in the hand and allows my right hand to stay relaxed when I'm having that swing. And I want my body coiled fully. I want my right shoulder facing that oncoming ball, and I want my chin resting above the right shoulder, as we can see here. I also want to step into the shot as often as I can. And this means loading up on that back leg once I reach the power position, having the toes of the front leg lifted off the ground, which will help me then have that body weight transfer through the point of contact. It's also important to lift your elbow with that left hand so that you create that extra distance to produce that racket head speed. If my elbow's tucked in, the racket head's low. If I lift the elbow, the racket head's high. So lifting the elbow will actually initiate that higher preparation. The next step is then the contact point and the finish. Now, ideally, we want to be making contact in front of our body, and we do this for two main reasons. Number one, when I make contact in front, both of my eyes contract the ball onto the strings and off the strings. And number two, I have that stability from the body because the entire body is now supporting that racket head. If I make contact on side of my body, firstly, my wrist is in a very awkward position. Secondly, only my left eye will really see that ball. And thirdly, I'll feel very weak on that shot because the body isn't supporting the racket head. So by making contact in front, I'm stable, I'm balanced, and I feel strong. If I'm using that Eastern backhand grip, as you see, my wrist is very neutral and the palm is facing the ground when I make contact. If I'm trying to go for topspin, what I want to do is, from this power position, the racket head will drop. I then lead the swing with the bottom of the racket, so it's like this racket lag phase, and the racket head drops down below that point of contact. So if I'm making contact up here, I want the racket head below that point of contact so that I'm able to then brush up as I hit that shot. So it's racket head below, making contact in front, and finally the racket head will go from this position to a flipped position. So in this position, my arm is now in a pronated position with the forearm. And from here, I'm now supinating that forearm and I'm allowing the palm to go from palm down to palm up. This creates that low to high swing, which will help me have that lift over the net, but also that topspin. So once again, with the racket, point of contact, forearm opens up to the sky. And as you can see, the racket then goes from low to high and then to the finish. Now, if I'm hitting a flatter shot, I can then extend more towards my target and keep the strings on the ball for longer. So I'm following the flight of the ball, and then finally, I'll finish in that normal way. Now, if you want more help with your one-handed backhand, we have a free backhand guide that you can download right away. I'll leave the link beneath this video. So there you have it, how to hit the perfect one-handed backhand in 3 simple steps. A brief recap, we have step 1, that early coil, step 2, the power position, and step 3, that contact point in front, and finishing the swing. If you've enjoyed this lesson, make sure you smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on that notification bell so you don't miss out on our future lessons. Now, if there are any lessons you'd like to see from us in the near future, leave your comments down below, and we'll film the top suggestions. Signing off, Coach Sam from T2T. All the best and see you soon, guys. Take care.